When it comes to interviewing, one of the most searched terms on the internet is how to prepare for a behavioral interview. And today's video, I'm going to teach you how to do exactly that. I've been in recruitment for 15 years, and I'm going to teach you how to nail your next behavioral interview. Let's go. Now, first things first, what is a behavioral interview? Well, it actually refers to a type of interview question. It's called a behavioral interview question. And it's a question that asks you to remember a previous situation and walk the interviewer through how you handled it. And they're doing that because the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So they want to know, what did you do in the past and what can we expect of you moving forward? Now, you can tell you're being asked a behavioral interview question because it'll start with one of the two phrases I'm about to say. It'll either start with, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of a time when. That right there is the key to letting you know you're being asked a behavioral interview question. And they are incredibly popular because they're pretty challenging to answer. And it forces the person interviewing to think a little bit, walk through candidly how they dealt with difficult situations. It allows the interviewer, conceptually, a glimpse into your past behavior. So they can go, okay, this is what they look like as an employee. Now, the reality is, if you're a candidate, these are really hard questions. And you know why they're hard? They're hard because you have to remember very specific situations. You know, if they say to you, for example, give me an example of a time where you had a disagreement with a coworker. That is an incredibly specific situation. And off the top of your head, you might not have that example. So right there, on the spot, you've got to think about it, and then you've got to walk them through the answer in a way that makes you look like a great candidate. That in of itself is a very challenging task. Now, you're probably thinking, Ben, that sounds super hard. I hate this. Well, don't worry. I'm going to give you 3 strategies right now that is going to allow you to nail those questions. And if you think they're hard right now, by the end of this video, I guarantee you will feel much better about it. By the way, if you're finding value in this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. It's free, it tells YouTube I don't suck, and it motivates me to make more videos like this, and it really helps the channel. And if you're already willing to do that, hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss one of my 3 free weekly videos, all designed to help you nail your next interview and land your dream job. Now, the first thing you need to know is you need to know how to answer them. That's right, there's actually a technique to help you answer these questions. Now, the technique you want to use is called the STAR method. And the STAR method is essentially a methodology for answering behavioral interview questions. And it's an acronym that stands for situation, task, action, and result. What was the situation you were in? Like, where were you working? What was your title? What did you do on a day-to-day basis? That kind of thing. Task. What was the specific situation that you were encountering, right? They're going to ask you about a situation. That's T. They want to know what was the task, what were you doing, etc. Action. What was your specific action in the situation? What did you do? You know, that's the big one. What is the action you took? That's what they're really getting at. And then result. What was the outcome of the action you took? Now, when it makes sense, you can throw an L on the end for lesson, but using the STAR method is essentially a framework on how to answer these questions so you can concisely tell a story that includes all the necessary details. By the way, if you want to become the best candidate possible and you want to prepare so that you're better than 99% of the candidates out there, then I want you to go into the description box and click that top link. That top link is the link to my full interview prep guide. It is a complete course on everything you need to know how to do to nail your next interview. And it costs less than a week's of Starbucks. It's going to give you customized videos, instructional guides, and templates to help you nail your next interview. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to understand what some of the most common behavioral interview questions are so you can actually practice answering them. Now, some of the most common questions are, can you tell me about a time that you disagreed with your direct manager? Can you tell me about a time that you led a project from beginning to end? Can you tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer? Can you tell me about a time you disagreed with a coworker? Those are the type of most common behavioral interview questions you know you're going to answer. So I want you to think through actual answers for those questions. Now, some of you are probably thinking, okay, cool, Ben, but that's 4. There's probably many more behavioral interview questions, and I can't prepare an answer for every single one of them. Correct, you cannot do that. But what you can do is you can write down what I call hero stories. Hero stories are situations and different examples of things you've done in your career that you were hoping to share in an interview. And what I tell all my candidates to do is I go, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to open up a Word doc and I'd like you to document between 5 to 10 different stories you'd like to be able to tell in your interview. It could be about your most significant career achievement. It could be about a project you led. It could be about a customer you impressed. But look at your resume, and I want you to look at every single stop you've had. And then I want you to write out 2 or 3 moments that are worth sharing for your time in those jobs. And I want you to actually write out, basically, in star format, what these situations are, right? What was the situation you were in? What was the task you completed? What was the action you needed to take? And then what was the result, right? And if you go through and you familiarize yourself with a handful of different examples in your career, you should be able to apply them to a variety of behavioral interview questions. And if you can do that, it doesn't matter. You won't know every single question they're going to ask you, but odds are you'll have familiarized yourself with a bunch of stories that can answer many of them. That way you have set yourself up for success. You still use the STAR method, you still prepare for the ones you know are probably coming, but then you also familiarize yourself with a bunch of different stories of times in your career where you've faced challenges, you've overcome challenges, you've accomplished something worth noting. If you write those out, write out exactly what happened, familiarize yourself with the details, you will be able to nail so many behavioral interview questions that you don't need to worry about them. Now, the frustrating thing is you could do all that and you still could get rejected from a job, even though you're an amazing candidate. In fact, I made a video called 7 Reasons Hiring Managers Reject Good Candidates, and you should watch it because there are times where you will interview great and you will not get the job, but it is not your fault. In this video, I tell you exactly why it happens. I'll see you over there.